This was me in this library freshman year. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I just spent 5 minutes trying to do an intro and they were all really corny, so we're just gonna settle with this. I've always wanted to do a ranking video. I love a good ranking video, okay? Grandma Deb, I eat those up. I think they're so funny, but I was like, how can I I'm a nerd, okay? I don't twerk, I read. Anyway, no, I do both. But anyway, I was like, how can I make this Harvardified? Because I go to Harvard, guys.
Everyone, boo this nigga!
You know what? I could rank every single Harvard library. This would be really funny. No one's ever done this before. I am the first on the internet to rank every single Harvard library. I've actually come up with my own tiers. So from S tier to F tier, I've revamped them, given them new names. And we're gonna go through the tiers right now. We have flow state, okay? You guys know what flow state is. This derives from the state of flow. I'm trying to explain it because I knew what flow was before flow state became a brain rot term. Flow is a state you enter. Oftentimes it relates to athletics or like performance where you actually aren't very cognizant of what's going on and your body is going through the motions, akin to muscle memory, but it's not your body repeating something. When you're in flow state in basketball, you might not even remember thinking, I need to run up and shoot this 3-point right now. It's innate. I'm entering flow state because I'm so good at this. You want to be in flow state when you're studying, okay? This means you're locked. Nothing is stopping you. In A tier, we have 50-10. 50-10 refers to Pomodoro timers. Not to flame you guys with short attention spans, but I think 25-5 is a little crazy. You're telling me you can only work for 25 minutes without getting distracted, but that's not even like a Disney Channel episode, actually. Like, it's literally not. 50-10 is the big, mature, older brother of 25-5. In B tier, we have midterm is tomorrow. So this is where you go when things are kind of dire. You're not going here to be ahead of the game, okay? You're already kind of behind, but this is a place where you're gonna get your gears going. Like, this is still a lock-in place, but it's not the best. It's not flow state, it's not 50-10. C tier, we have 25-5. As I've said, it's the immature, not really focused, less productive version of 50-10. It's a fine library, you know, at least you're focused here, but it's not the most focused you could be. We have busy work core. You got 15 minutes between class and you really don't have time to start an assignment, because I personally hate starting an assignment when I don't have time to continue it. So I might open up an internship application. Jobs. I might open up an email, might do some email correspondence here. And in F tier, we got performative studiers. This is people who, you know, have to write their entire econ notebook on the whiteboard only to forget it the next morning and the exam, they're chopped. This is, I gotta get 5,000 study drinks to lock in, and I'm not flaming study drinks. I love a study drink, but you're getting 3 study drinks and you haven't even gone through one assignment. What's going on here? This is, let's go work here as a group and study together, and then you've spent 30 minutes laughing. This is not the place, okay? If this ends up on my school's anonymous page, yo, this girl from our school just ranked libraries or rankings, I'm gonna clip it, guys. I actually hope this is the one video from school people see, because this would be a really funny video for people to see, because I want to see if people think my rankings are legit. Because a lot of you guys can't like validate. Well, also, I want you guys to comment like,
yo, Rochelle, like that library deserved an A tier, you're tweaking.
And maybe I'll debate with you in the comments. Maybe I could have given a little more grace, a little more leeway to some, a little less leeway to others, but I feel like my rankings are pretty accurate. I'm not going from best to worst or worst to best. We're just gonna go random order. There are some standout libraries at Harvard and some stand out in a bad way. Let's get into it. Starting off strong, our first contender, the law school library. Gonna be real with you guys, I'm not going to go through the pros and cons in like a pros and cons order. I'm just gonna say it in the funniest way I can think with the best comedic timing, and some might be a con, some might be a pro. Good luck. But the first day I came here at 9 a.m. All the study rooms were already taken. 9 a.m. I'm not even saying 9 a.m. is early, but for me to come to a library at 9 a.m. and I can't find a study room is crazy. These law school kids do not play around. And on top of that, they were locked in without headphones. I can't even walk down 2 flights of stairs to do my laundry without like a tune or a video, which might say something about me and my inability to sit in silence.
Get out!
To be able to work in complete silence for like a long period of time, I can do it when I need to. When the math gets a little too thinky and I can't listen to Addison Rae tell me things a gun, like I gotta put it down, but they just had no music. Raw dogging silence. Funny side note, my friend who got admitted to Harvard Law had less than 100 minutes of listening time, and most of those minutes were because she was our choreographer for our dance troupe. Maybe the strat to getting into law school is no music? If you're watching this and you want to go to law school, listen up. Everyone here being locked in scares me into locking in. I feel ashamed to be even doom scrolling on TikTok. What the fuck am I doing on TikTok? I'm scrolling, looking at the first floor. I like the color scheme of Darkwood. I just like Darkwood in general. I think Darkwood is prim and posh, and dark academia, Pinterest, romanticizing studying. When I see Darkwood, I'm like, I'm about to have a good time studying right now. I think the gray and the blue makes sense with the dark wood, and the carpets aren't ugly. But then you get to the second floor. The second floor is like the middle sibling who didn't get any of the good genes, and like the gene pool kind of just skipped over the two. Second floor is a little bit chopped. It kind of takes back the aesthetic, but then I went up to the third floor, and the third floor is like the sibling that grabs all the genetics out of the Punnett square. The third floor is the older sibling that everyone asks the younger siblings about, like, that's your sister? Like, can I get her snap? Can I get her number? Is she single? That's the third floor, okay? The third floor is gorgeous. The first floor was fine. It wasn't ugly, but it wasn't perfect. And the second floor, whoa, I don't like it. The third floor, I don't even have words. Look at this. There's huge computers around, so many wide open spaces. This is the floor of the law school library. On the second floor, I will say there are some carrels, and they're pretty huge. It closes at 11 p.m., which is pretty good for Harvard libraries considering the fact that most of them close around 7 or 8. It's semi-central to campus, closes late, pretty decently nice. It's very productive. Overall, I give this 50/10. A tier. Continuing on this trajectory of graduate school libraries, we have the Graduate School of Design Library, Francis Loeb Library. I'd say the pros are that it has some really cool architectural designs around the basement. It seems that architecture students made these. I don't know if it was through carving the wood themselves. I don't know if that sounds crazy. I hope like a design student doesn't see this and go like, she's dumb as. I wouldn't say it was 3D printed, so I don't know. But they made these, okay? It was made by PhD students there. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the open space, and it has white lighting. I think yellow lighting is kind of chopped for locking in. It's pretty silent. This might be because it's pretty unpopular. That could be a pro or con. I consider it to be a pro just because the 3 main libraries are very congested because they are so popular. A less popular library means that you probably have a better opportunity of finding a seat and working somewhere. Bro, my nail just popped off. Switching hands so we don't have to look at my broken nail, but there are only 2 floors, and there's a computer station for people to use computers. I always consider that a big pro because freshman year, a lot of the time, when I wanted to write essays or have numerous screens to look at when working, I would use a big computer. So any library that has that is a good library to me. The cons of this one are there just isn't that much table space in comparison to other libraries. The first floor has huge windows. I hate big windows in places where I need to lock in. I don't want to do work, so I'm trying to find every distraction, and there are tens of thousands of people walking by a window. That's such an exaggeration that it's almost gross. I'm always looking. I'm always people watching out the window, and I can't have that. Also, they can see me. I just don't like being perceived without my control. People looking into the windows out of my control, so I don't want to be by that window. There are not outlets at every table. And I just took another point off because it's kind of lame for a grad school library, considering 2 of the S tier libraries and 1 of the A libraries are grad school ones. You gotta step it up. The other grad schools are beating your ass. So for that, I will call this a busy core library. You know, I might send a few emails here, maybe even edit a YouTube video here with some headphones on, but I will not be taking my Orgo P set here, or it's really not even mid. This is the Gutman School of Education Library. The main floor is a big open space, which is really good. And it also has a cafe. I didn't go to it at the time, but it seems to have a lot of food, coffee, an extra plus in the library because not every library has a cafe, and it's not even a necessity for a lot of libraries. There's a bit of chatter on the main floor, which I think is a pro and a con simultaneously. It's a pro in that I don't have to be scared to sneeze because it's so silent, but it could be a con if you get easily distracted by other conversations. But I'm not gonna lie, just put on your noise canceling headphones and lock in, gang, like, come on. But if you are looking for a quieter setting, the second floor, which is more of a real library, there's like books. The main floor, they technically don't consider that as part of the library. A lot of times with these grad schools is that the whole school is in that one building, and the building just happens to have a library. So the same with the Loeb Design School and some other grad schools I might mention. So the main floor isn't really part of the library. I just added it because otherwise there would be only one floor. But I can't give it full credit. Okay, so it can't be at the top because of that. It only has really one floor as a library. The second floor that is more of a library is a lot more quiet. There's a lot of quiet zones. There's also study rooms as well. I believe you have to rent them. They were locked when I went, but I've been in them before. Study rooms for group study, as well as just like individual study room if you want to be in a room by yourself. Sometimes I need that for real. There's a real library. The desks are kind of small. I felt a little bit claustrophobic in there, and I'm not even claustrophobic. There are computers at your disposal, pro, and yeah, but again, the library is one floor and closes at 9, and it's kind of just lame for a grad school library. So I think I'm gonna put this in 25.5. This is considering the fact that I gave it an extra 4 when it didn't need one. So I was being kind of generous. Now we have the Harvard Kennedy School. Let me actually do some research and tell you what this school is actually about. I want to say politics, but I actually don't know. Government, low genuinely the same thing. The Graduate School of Public Policy, actually. So I said, yeah, okay. I was kind of on track. It is only one floor, and it's in the basement. So there's not really any sunlight. Like, all you're gonna be seeing is people's feet walking by. If you're lucky. I'm pretty sure the window that I was by points out to the park, and not many people walk by there, so you really won't see that many feet. I'm not into that though. I don't know if some of you might be. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Right. But anyway, yeah, one floor, which means that also when it's busy, like, you're cooked. You're not finding a spot. A maximum 50 capacity in this library. Maybe 75. You're not finding a spot. And I almost feel like a sardine. These cubbies were really tight. I feel like the people next to me could hear me chewing, could hear me breathing, could hear the music in my headphones. It was just something. Being so close to people who are eating, you can smell their food. This very specifically bothers me because I don't like strong aromas when I'm locking in specifically. I will be really pissed off if I gotta smell an orange while I'm locking in. I don't know, that's really random, but it's a lot of people's library snack. I don't know why. And it just makes me mad. Like, I'm just trying to not smell anything. I should have said this for the other grad school libraries. Because it's a grad school library, you know that everyone there is a grad student, so they're locked in by nature, or they're very intense, sweaty undergrads, or they're like me and they're very cooked and need to focus. So you got 3 options here, but all 3 gotta be locked in for whatever reason. I expect most people in this library to be productive and doing productive things. And like I said, a lot of the grad buildings contain other aspects of the building, like it's not just a library. This building has a very cool open space with a sunroof and a lot of other spaces to explore. There's a bunch of conference rooms that I've been in on other floors. So there's a lot to be offered in this building, but the library is only one floor. So again, kind of like the Gutman Library, I'll give it a few points for that. I can't consider all these other amenities as a part of the Kennedy School Library. So I would say this is also 25.5. C tier. I would say it's better than the Gutman School. I just think it's more productive and it looks nicer. It feels nicer. It's just a better quality library. Now this next library, it has seen me at my best, at my worst. I've cried in this library. I've died in this library. People lie. Sorry. I didn't do any of that in this library. Sorry. But it's almost home, honestly. Like, this library knows me. The security guard here, me and him are twin them. One of the security guards here, every time I come back past my freshman year, he's like,
"Damn, you back again, bro? Like, it's been 3 years. Like, get out of this library."
he knows me by name. That's how much I'm in this library. It's bad. And I don't even want to be here. So I know this library. When I'm about to tell you about this library, but I know data. Like, this is data and I know data, okay? So this is Lamont Library. It is open 24 hours except for the weekend because Harvard's like, hey, you guys are kind of losers and we need you to get out. If they didn't close, I'm pretty sure people would sleep here. I'm not even joking. It is the biggest library here. It's 5 floors. A lot of people here are locked in because it's almost like we all feel a shared sense of cookness. I come here and my friend Jay, she has a 20-page paper due tomorrow. My friend A, she has an econ exam tomorrow and she hasn't gone to class all semester and she's watching every single lecture back. There are 2 24-hour libraries and this is the one where you come if you're cooked. During final season, like, you are not finding a seat here, which is crazy because there's probably 150 seats on the 3rd floor alone. There's 4 more floors below that. It's a place of working. But at the same time, I have seen the craziest about this library on side chat. Side chat is our anonymous thing. And I've seen Ken the freshman guys talking about blowjob on the 1st floor, shut up. What? Or to the girl who spilled milk on the floor and didn't clean it up, you're a bitch. So there are a little bit of shenanigans in this library. It's a very popular freshman library, but also a popular undergraduate library in general, which means it's very busy. I would honestly say it's the most popular library. You come here at 11 p.m. and it's still booked and busy. You can come here at 10:30 during final season and it's still booked and busy. It's very busy. But my favorite room almost never has anyone in it, even during all these busy times. So I don't have to worry about making noise. And I will gatekeep this room till I die. I guess I'm not gatekeeping because I'm showing you guys, but if I post this and I come in 3 weeks from now and it's full, I'll just have to die. I'll just have to kill myself because this is my space. My friends know me. If they come in this library, they don't even have to ask where I am. They open Find My and they see I'm in the library, they know I'm here because this is my spot. I own this room. I'm not even joking. And as you can see, there's a lot of computers, rooms with like full rooms with monitors. There's this room and there's also the basement floor. It has a bunch of monitors for people to use. There's lots of collaboration spaces. There's little alcoves with a table and some chairs for you to sit out with your friends. And there's a cafe. It closes at midnight, I believe, which is great when you need that late caffeine boost. And it has a secret tunnel to Widener Library, and almost nobody knows this because we can't use it. But one day I was there really late and I didn't know they closed. It was a weekend. Sue me. Got a punishment for being there. I got my name written up and I had to go to the secret tunnel because the doors were locked, and if I had gone through the regular doors, the alarms would go off. Security guard was like,
"You can't ever do this again."
This is Harvard, bro. I got in trouble for studying. I literally got in trouble for studying, actually. Imagine you were in the back rooms, except the entity you're in with is actually your 20-page paper that you've procrastinated all semester and it's due in 2 days. And the noises you hear are actually the coughing and sneezing of other people around you. And then you can feel the glares of people glaring at those people who are coughing and sneezing. That is Lamont Library in a nutshell. I'm never in those rooms, but the main rooms remind me of the back rooms just a little bit. Like, the floors are green, like that one room. Come on, like, you guys see it. Come on. I feel like I'm playing an indie horror game when I'm in these rooms. And people just love coming here when they're sick. They genuinely have the plague, but they want to blow out their bodily fluids in this library specifically. And people here have the runs. I go into the bathrooms. Yes, okay, I have been guilty of taking a dump or two in these bathrooms because I'm here for 12 hours, okay? At some point, I gotta go. But the bathrooms genuinely smell like all the air fresheners in the world couldn't fix. I have to hold my breath in these bathrooms while I'm doing the same thing. It's bad, but it's kind of funny. But that's a con, like, come on. Sometimes I'll go to a different bathroom because I already know, like, I'm gonna be there for a while and I'm not about to be inhaling doo-doo fumes for 30 minutes. I have a special place in my heart for this library, but I know that objectively it's not the best library, okay? But it's not the worst. You can get your work done here. You can be productive. It's just a little bit crowded, a little bit gross sometimes, a little bit distracting. So I would give it 25/5. Okay, you can get some work done, but then you need a break. I would actually say, I don't know if this is a controversial take, people just regard the grad school libraries at our school with they must be better than undergrad, but I think this is actually higher than the Kennedy School and the Gutman School. I think this is a pretty high C tier library. And now we're back to grad schools again, and we're at the Divinity School Library. This is a beautiful library. There is a stained glass window that is just gorgeous. Reminds you of church. Hallelujah. You feel like you're looking at a cathedral from the outside. The exterior of a library is half as important as the interior, and this one really takes the cake. One of the best exteriors for a Harvard library. Ironically, the interior kind of disappoints you from the exterior. I look at the outside and I'm like, wow, I'm about to walk in and see angels on the walls and angels on the ceilings. And I swear, maybe I am schizophrenic. My freshman year, I saw a side chat post about there being like some angel painting on the ceiling. I've never seen it. I don't know who lied. Maybe it was a gimmick to prank freshmen that happens. I've never seen that. I don't know if it's a different library or something, but I would expect to see it at the Divinity School Library. This also could be a personal issue. I just hate carpets, and every single floor here, all 4 are carpeted. Can we just have some hardwood floors, some tiles? I don't know. A big win is there are a lot of whiteboards and markers, both on the ground floor and on some classrooms on the top floor. The classrooms weren't open the day I went to film this, but I've been here before during final season and they're great. Maybe you have to come in the daytime. And there are some group study rooms that can be used as individual because I went in them on myself and I was alone. So that's also great. I'm giving it points for being connected to a cafe and a hall with more rooms and more stuff. I'm not even gonna repeat myself. We know the grad schools have more. I just repeated myself. Anyway, it's relatively not busy. I've gone during the end of finals period, and I don't really know how the Divinity School operates in terms of when their busy season is. There's a lot of pros about this library, and even though the interior kind of is a little bit chopped and, you know, the outside beauty is better than the inside, it's a great library for working. And it has a lot of floors. There's a lot of, like, amenities, if that makes sense. Like, whiteboard. Not amenities, but good things about the library. So I would actually give it A tier. But I would not say it is better than the law school library. So we're going to put it below that one. The definition of a library is a building or room containing a collection of books, periodicals, and online resources for people to read, borrow, or refer to. So by definition, this is a library, but it is literally one room. I said one floor for Gutman. I said one floor for Kennedy School. This is one room. Bro, there is 2 desks. There is 2 tables in this whole library. This is the Robbins Library, also known as the Philosophy Library. Library is a stretch, honestly. That's a little too generous for this room. So since it barely constitutes as a library, I don't really know if there's anything that I like about it. There's not that much space. While I typically like dark academia in a room, the carpeting, it just ruins it. Like, this is not speaking to me. The dark wood's not speaking to me. The dark walls aren't speaking to me. They're actually scaring me. They're telling me, they are speaking to me. They're telling me to get out and go somewhere else because this isn't the library for me. Okay. This is for sure going in performative study year, right? But I want to say that I think the people in here are truly actually working. They are not performative, but this library itself is performative because it's not a library. Now we have the SEC library, and SEC is short for Science and Engineering Complex. This is the engineering building of our school, basically. This is where all the engineering classes are offered. This is their home. When I say home, I mean home. There are showers and beds here. These guys are sleeping in this building. And I don't even mean like, oh no, I fell asleep already in my essay and I woke up and it's 8 a.m. No, I mean, I'm here in my jammies and I'm sleeping in a pod. And I'm showering before that and doing my skincare routine in the building. So they actually have 24/7 access here, especially engineering students, which means they can actually come here on the weekend and this could be their life. They could live in this building. I don't know if that's a pro because, hey, you could be permanently locked in, like locked in the building, but go home, bro. Come on. The library is on the 2nd floor. And it doesn't really feel separate from the rest of the building. I happen to go at a silent time, but I can imagine it'd be very annoying when the rest of the building is in full swing and people are just walking around and talking on the main floors, which they have the right to do, but it echoes up to your library. But I would say this library has a lot of study areas, and even they have curtains for privacy, which is pretty cool. That's the only place that has something like that. At the same time, I don't know if this gives library vibes. It just feels like a study area of a building. There are whiteboard markers, and I emphasize the markers because a lot of these places have whiteboards and no markers because people are always stealing them. There are a bunch of empty classrooms to work in as well. These small bonus points going for the rest of the building being very useful as well. If you're looking for a bigger space to work in, if you want a whole orgo board to write some reactions, if you want to look at some mechanisms, some arrow pushing mechanisms, some synthesis, this is the place for you. I'm really sorry. I have been orgo literally lives in my head rent free. It's really bad. This is only open to engineering majors 24/7, which is kind of annoying because there are times when I've wanted to come here. Hey, I have a funny video planned. Me and my friends are trying to sleep over here. None of us are engineering. We're gonna make it happen. Subscribe to me if you want to see me sleep in those sleeping pods. If you want to see me be the ultimate nerd and sleep in the classroom building, subscribe. It's pretty far. You have to take a bus to get here. This is a place you might be coming to pretty often if you were an engineering student. If you're not, it's probably not the library for you. This library just didn't really speak to me that much. You could say it objectively had more pros than some of the higher libraries ranked here and objectively less cons, but it's just not a library. I can't really regard this as the same as Lamont Library. So I would say this is honestly busy work core, unfortunately. And I will say it is better than the Loeb School for sure, even though it's only one floor. And next we have the Fung Library, which is the library for China, Japan, Russian, and Eurasia. It has half of its volumes in Chinese. And I would have guessed that from the name because I'm culturally cognizant. Anyway, there are a lot of individual desks to work at in this library, and there are open computers to use, but I don't know how open they are. So they actually are contained in this Harvard MIT data center, and I saw a bunch of people using them, but then I kind of realized I think they're lab students. I did not try the computers, so I don't really know if it's actually open for you to use. And in that Harvard MIT data center, there is this beautiful water garden area. There's a little pond in there, and there's a bunch of plants, and there's couches or some pillows for people to sit on. And it's a great break area. That's so calming. Sitting and the water's running. It was kind of random, but maybe this is a culturally significant moment and I'm being insensitive and this is actually a part of Chinese culture. I don't know. Somebody comment down below if this makes sense for the Fung Library. But the library itself is kind of just a bit lackluster. That garden is the best thing about the library. It doesn't really give library. I love the green wall and that room, but it almost feels like a common room. It has all the individual desks, which are more so kind of cubbies and alcoves. A con of that is that you could fall asleep there and not be woken up from shame. A lot of pros about open desk is that it's a little bit, not disrespectful, but it's just odd to just place your head down and sleep. People will do it anyway, but it's a bit more frowned upon. But in this little alcove, you might close your eyes and find that 3 hours have passed and you not. And this library does have stacks. It is not the first one to have stacks. All these libraries have stacks. I find that with a lot of stacks, they're honestly creepy and they feel like a serial killer could chase you through them. But these were really well lit and they didn't feel like that. So they actually just felt like a library room. I'm never in the stacks, so maybe that's irrelevant, but these were good stacks. There's this cool photo printing thing. You can print posters. I haven't seen that anywhere else, and I don't know how to work it, but I think you can print maps and posters, like really big posters here. That's useless for me. Gives it like 1 centimeter of a point. I'm gonna put it in 25.5. It is not better than Lamont, or the Kennedy School, or the Gutman Library. It's the bottom of the C tier. Now we have, this is one of the big three, and I would say this is the biggest of them all. Widener Library. This is the library thing of Harvard. You Google Harvard University and Widener is the first picture that comes up. Widener is that girl. I don't think it's actually more popular than Lamont, but I only say this because it's not open 24/7. If it was open 24/7, Lamont would not be the most popular. This library has the best architecture at Harvard. The history of this library is so cool. Not to geek out on you for a second, but basically the library is made in honor of this guy, Harry Widener. He was very devoted to getting manuscripts, and he was actually on the Titanic on his way back from getting a very rare Shakespeare manuscript, and then I think we all know what happened. Okay, only Rose survived, so those manuscripts were gone. His mom made the library in honor of him. But when she went to the library, she made one specific rule, and it was that they could not touch the walls of the library. But these guys were getting books from everywhere. Like, how were they going to put more books in there? Build down. So the library actually has a lot of underground floors, underground tunnel connecting to Lamont. As I mentioned before, maybe this story sounds actually dumb to you, and you're like, girl, what the hell? You got me excited for like this crazy lore, and it's actually goofy as hell. But when I was touring here as a junior, I thought that was so cool. I was like, oh my god, look at this cool library. It only goes down. His study room, people replace the flowers every single day and turn a page of the Bible per his mother's instructions for a century. Like, she said you're turning this every single day, and they're still doing it. On top of that, this library has 4 floors, plenty of computers in one room. The main reading room is the room. Every Harvard influencer you see is studying in this room on their page. Come on. I just think it's beautiful. I love the ceiling of this room. I don't know how to explain it. The stacks aren't the most frightening ever, but people actually have sex in these stacks. We have 4 Harvard traditions, 3 of which include public indecency. So the first one is your freshman year, right before finals. Everyone runs around in the cold, in the winter, naked. And I don't know why Ivies do this. Yale has naked parties. I don't really know who came up with this public indecency thing. This probably obviously was implemented way back when there's only men at the school and stuff like that. Like that.
Yeah, bro, let's go with our day out. Let's go.
That's something only a man could come up with. I'm sorry. What the hell? And then there's having sex in the stacks. That's the second tradition. The third one is peeing on the John Harvard statue. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you were ever told to rub the statue's foot for good luck, you have rubbed piss. That's all I gotta say. And then jumping in the river. That's the most normal one. Even though that's still crazy, I think I'm gonna do it senior year, maybe. You know, that's never happened to me. I've never experienced it. It's never happened to me. Not happening to me, bro. By experience, I mean, I never heard people doing it while I was in there, but I did have a friend freshman year. She was locked in and she heard people doing that. I don't even know what time they do this because the library closes at like 7 or 8. So, like, they gotta be doing this either in the morning when nobody comes by or right before the library closes. Great for focus. It's super quiet. Like, you should not be sneezing in the main room. Oh my god. I had TikTok go off in the main room and I just left the library. I'm not even joking. I couldn't go back for a week or 2. There's no individual or group study rooms. You're definitely going to run into someone you know here, so you can't ever look chopped here. In Lamont, everyone's cooked. Like, everyone's in their sweats and their hoodie. But people are in here in their beat down, fit tee, mama cunt boots. And random tourists will come in and out a lot. If that would just, like, that's a little bit distracting to me. As I explained, like, this, she's her, okay? This is the Harvard Library. Like, this is the dawn of the Harvard libraries. So just for that, she's already up there, but she's also just a good library. This is flow state. This is a flow state library. And just continuing on these diva libraries, we got the Baker Library at the business school, and the main room is beautiful. Like, this could contend with the Widener reading room, okay? This is a really beautiful reading room. 2 brown woods here. There's mahogany and there's a lighter one. The doors and the archways all have this brown wood. I don't know the color of it. Maybe this is oak. I'm going off Minecraft knowledge. I'm not even joking. Like, maybe this is oak tree. Steve, help me. And these golden clocks, random as hell, but I think they're also just such a nice, minute but small touch. I sound like a library freak, but I don't even look at these clocks actually, but it's just the knowing they're there. And they're just stunning. Closes at 7. This is the only library to have standing desks. This library cares that I'm not on my ass all the time, getting, who knows what type of diabetes from sitting down all the time. I stood at this desk in front of a window and I saw the sunlight and I worked and I stood. And that is rare. There's another area where you can study with whiteboards, with markers. And honestly, this alone, I could rank this right now. This alone is putting this above Widener. This is a T library, right? I know I called Widener the Dawn, but she's the dawn of undergraduate libraries, okay? This library has so much to offer. You guys don't understand how important markers are to me as a chemistry major and someone who takes physics and so many classes that require me to draw things or just have an understanding of something visual, I need whiteboards, okay? It's relatively not busy because it is across the river. It's not that far across the river, it's literally right across the river, closer than the SEC. But, you know, if you are lazy and you don't want to leave main campus, then yeah, it's not the library for you. Because of that, it's relatively not busy, so it's easy to find a seat. There are computers open to use, stacks. They're not bad or good. They're not that scary though. I already said this is going above widener. It just blew me out the water. Maybe it was like the newness of it. It was my first time at this library. I sound like a lunatic raving about libraries. And now we have at number 12 the Tozzer library. This is a small library with 2 floors. Unironically, the downstairs floor is better and the upstairs floor is just a room. Honestly, it's better than the room of Robbins. I literally looked at it and I was getting flashbacks to my middle school library. I'm not even joking. It reminded me exactly of that. I was getting more flashbacks to G&T. I like the shade of green they used. And there is an all-gender restroom, which means that I can shit in peace. I just don't want to be worried that the person next to me is facing a war crime. The rows of the stacks move electronically. I ain't never seen this before. I've seen the spinny wheel. I ain't never seen move left, move right. Honestly, when I think about it, it's really not revolutionary technology, but it was just cool, okay? I can admit some things are cool. This has whiteboards with working markers, and I'm not even joking because I made the tiers in my head beforehand. I had this at D tier, and I moved it up to B tier because of that. This is serious to me, having whiteboards and markers. It's actually very unpopular. There were 8 people in this entire library and I was here for a few hours. It's not that far itself, but it's also very confusing to get to. Google Maps brings me to the wrong place. It took me a while to get here. There's only 2 computers. It's not that many, but there's some. But like I said, this actually got moved up to midterm is tomorrow for me because of the markers. It's just integral. And next we have Countway Library at the Harvard Med School in Boston. It's not in Cambridge. It was 30 minutes by scooter, so maybe 15 minutes by car if you're lucky. By train, I don't know. It is really worth it. I went at a time when there were no med students, so it was pretty empty and clear. Later on, a lot of them came in and they were locked. There's a game room with an Xbox and board games. Like, hello? I didn't know that med students were having fun like this. Granted, nobody went in that room and I was in that building for hours, but it's there. It was also final season, so low-key no one has time to play games, but it's there. It has a couch to chill on. It's very comfortable. There's a lot of nice open spaces to work at. 3 floors. There's the main floor, a basement, and the second floor that you can work at. Everything there is just clean. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that there's no eating or drinking allowed except for water. There are group rooms, there are independent study rooms, there are chat booths for video calls, so if you got an interview to take or a meeting, a Zoom meeting, all these options are there for you. It's great. And then it has a nice architecture on the outside and design. My favorite type of libraries either have a design like this or like widener. It's modern. I like the rounded tables. I like I don't know how to describe those walls. You can run your hands along them and it's like these chairs are fire. You can turn them into a better chair for posture by flipping them downwards, rest your back on them. These small things that kind of go to make students more comfortable or feel more comfortable while studying, or even things like the standing desk, like small things like that are just very important to the library's integrity. This library wants me to focus and be comfortable at the same time. There are 10 pros for this library and 1 con, and that is far. Distance aside, this is the best library in Harvard. I gotta put this in flow state, and it's not 2 or 3. It's 1. Like, this is the library. You might disagree with me. I think honestly, all of the flow state libraries, they're very close. I like, these are interchangeably amazing. I just prefer the med school library. I just think it's the coolest. I can see disagreements in the comments rising, like, oh my god. For me personally, this is the number 1 library. And funnily enough, we're actually gonna go from this amazing, splendid, wonderful S-tier library to this chopped library that shares a namesake with my house, Cabot Library. And it's actually so embarrassing because I'll be like, oh, I'm going to Cabot now. Library? Do I look like a freshman to you? This is the freshman library. People will make fun of you if you say you're gonna work here. Oh, you like freshmen? Why are you going to work here? Like, you freshman creep? You think of freshmen and this is library. It might be super central to campus. It might have amazing lighting. The whole library is just windows. And it probably has the most study rooms. I would say it has the most group study rooms for a library. But that's, if you think about it, why are there so many group study rooms? Because nobody's logging in. There are chat booths you can reserve for calls. It's in the Science Center, the hub of where a lot of Harvard things happen. There's so many classes there, whatever. But bro, do not log in here. Nobody is working. This was me in this library freshman year. At any point in any of these clips, do I look like I was locked in? Do I look like I was working? Even if I'm not in this clip, I'm recording it, so dude, was I doing work? No! This is for fake. Bro, you might as well drip matcha from the walls, put Labubu Dubai chocolates on the tables, and get your wired headphones and your sweater vest. This is the most performative library ever. Those videos some of them were at like 3, 4 a.m. I was not working in this library, bro. I could have been in bed. Jokes aside, those were like key integral freshman memories for me. I wouldn't change them for the world, but it's actually not the lock-in library. It's the third most popular library, so a lot of people are in there all the time. And I think it's actually chopped, and I think I've been habituated to it because I've been in there so long, but it's almost a knockoff version of the SEC building. It's trying to be this cool, modern, almost like MIT knockoff of the SEC building. Look at Cabot from the outside and then look at the SEC building. Like, come on, like, what? And I think things might have changed now, but when I was a freshman, nobody respected the fact that the second floor was supposed to be the quiet floor. Some of these videos I showed you, they happened on the second floor. Everyone was talking, so it's not even you could complain on side chat and shame them into silence because everyone's doing it. So nobody cares what you have to say. It's kind of just dirty in contrast to what I said about Countway. People just eat here. There's a cafe here, and there's also a cafe in Countway. There are so many good things about this library. It's a win. The rules regarding food and stuff aren't really strict here, so people just do whatever. I'm sure people don't intend to be dirty, but when people do that in a library, it doesn't bode well for the library. If you're on the first floor of the library, you can hear everything that's going on in the Science Center itself, so it can be pretty loud in the daytime. But like I said, this is the performative study library. I'm studying, guys. I'm studying at Cabot. That's what people here are like. There are so many amenities, whatever. If I wasn't considering how performative everyone was here, maybe if I wasn't considering how unlockable this is, it could be a C-tier library, but I gotta put it in performance study here. It's better than the room, so it's gotta be above that. But it's not that much better. And now on to the Loeb Music Library. Not to be confused with the Francis Loeb Library, which is the design school. This library is tough. I can't even lie to you. This is an underrated library. I was really surprised that my friends who are in this building all the time have never been to this library. They didn't even know what it was. And they're in this building all the time. The third main room is one of my favorite library rooms. I know I talked about Widener and his reading room and the Baker main room, but this is up there. It's just beautiful. Look at this room, bro. There's a study room with a standing electric desk. We gotta do standing desks everywhere. I can't believe not every library has it because they're amazing. 4 floors, great library. There's kind of this music room that's just cool. There's a piano in there. I don't play the piano. I wish I did. There's this historical area, which I also thought was a cool addition. There's a lot of study spaces here. It's right behind the Science Center, so it's pretty main campus. If you're gonna go to Cabot, you might as well trek a few extra feet and go to this library. I think it's way better than Cabot. There's no whiteboards, but there is a chalkboard. I like to say mechanisms can be drawn anywhere. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop talking about mechanisms now. I actually swear. I'm sorry, bro. The stacks are actually much less creepy than a lot of the stacks. I keep saying that about a lot of the stacks, so maybe stacks aren't really that creepy overall. And I'm thinking about 2 stacks. There's only one group study room though. At least there is one. Not every library has one. I don't like the carpeting of the first floor. Very beautiful library otherwise, but the first floor is just a little bit. But this is a pretty good library, I would say. I think it's B tier. I don't think it's an A tier library. It's better than Tozzer though, because it has much more to offer. I think it's just prettier as well. Now we have the Fine Arts Library. The building itself is very nice. It's not busy. It's right by the Science Center, so it's very central to campus. So those are the pros. I had to list those because it's not that much for me to say about this library because it's a nothing burger library. It's a nothing burger. It could disappear from Harvard's campus and nobody would bat. It's low-key hot as hell. Bro, I was dying in this library. I'm getting a headache thinking about how hot the library was. It's basically one room plus it stacks. We just keep calling places that are one room, I guess they're libraries, but it's a little bit mid. And the stacks are creepy. Walking in here, I was genuinely terrified that if I turned around, I was gonna see like, yeah. So, you know, it's all right. I would say this is a busy work library, and I don't think it outmogs the SEC or the Francis Loeb Library. So I think it is the bottom of the tier. Nothing to toot your horn about, okay? It's just there. Now, we have the Ernst Mayr Library. If we thought the last library was nothing burger, there's no burger here. It's nothing. It's really hard to get to for no reason. The elevator won't bring you there, so you have to take the stairs instead because your ID doesn't work. I don't know why. It's really weird. First time I came here, and only time I came here, first time ever, this guy had his dogs out. He was just working and they were just out. And you know what? Maybe that's on me because it's genuinely in the middle of nowhere and no one would ever find it. So maybe he was fuck, I can have my feet out. Like, who the fuck cares? This is my library. Maybe he felt like that. But I didn't like who he was feeling like. I don't know. There's no rooms, basically. It's more library stacks than rooms. And there's also no circulation. It was just old and not in the aesthetic way. I don't really have many good things to say about this library, except for the fact that collections of medals was cool. And I'm sure it has a cool history, but not as cool as Widener's, so is it really that cool? There's a special collection, which I think means a special archive. Normally people who need it for certain research will come here. You have to reserve it to look, so I couldn't see it. And I feel like I lost order because I walked in. He was like, you need an appointment. Honestly, this is Harvard's worst library. I would actually say it's worse than the one room because it has multiple rooms and they're all chungus. It's not even nice architecturally. The one room somehow mogs it, even though it has much more to offer than the one room. With these last two, there are no amenities. There are no study rooms. Nothing is great or good or even fine or even fair about these libraries, but this one is just worse. Maybe it's the feet. Maybe his feet just really ruined my experience in that I hate feet, and this is the worst library. Our last library, Yenching. It has a lot of Korean, Chinese, and Japanese archives, so East Asian library, and it's a large library with multiple floors, and there are open desks to work out, but that's kind of where it ends in terms of lists or pros. It was also just hot as balls in this library, bro. Oh my god. There's no elevator. Sweating balls going up and down trying to get all the footage. I'm asking, do you guys have an elevator? No, we're sorry. We wish we did. You know, there's just not many windows, so there's not a lot of natural light going on in this library. There are no computers. The floors are just all stacks. There's singular desks hidden between the stacks, but I kind of think that those are always piled up with books. These last few libraries have really been mid and putting a dampening on my video, I feel like. But this library is going to have to be the bottom of D tier. I don't think it's better than the Fine Arts Library, actually. I don't think it's better than Francis Loeb Library. Honestly, I would actually kind of tie this with the Fine Arts Library because the amount of working space is probably equivalent in these two libraries, even though Yenching has 4 more floors. They're both really hot as balls. They're both carpeted and kind of chopped. I could interchange these two. I would be fine putting this above Fine Arts or below Fine Arts. I'm just gonna leave it up below. This is the full ranking of every single Harvard library that there is to offer. I don't think I would ever go to any library that's below the SEC again, but it was fun to do once. And I'm glad I did it, and I can say that I've been to every Harvard library. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe for funny videos like this, and also request funny videos you think you want to see from me. It's my first time doing a ranking video, and I don't think it was as funny as the other ranking videos I watched because the topic itself isn't innately funny, but I think I'm funny. So it's probably kind of funny. You laughed, to be honest. I want to do other ranking videos because there's Harvard house libraries I can rank, there's Harvard dining halls, Harvard gyms, Harvard houses. There's so many things I can rank, and I feel like the Harvard houses ones will be fun because people are really prideful about their houses. But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I'll block your number and I'll enjoy the summer.